Hello friends, my name is Vibhor Kaushik and I am again here with you to share my point of view on the ongoing situation in the world. Today we will talk about the current war ongoing between Russia and Ukraine. We will try to look at all the aspects, why the war happened, what is the history, what is the possible solution, and uh, what's in it for India. What should India do in this whole mess? So before we start, I would request all of you to please subscribe to my channel Political Gyan Ganga, and also like and comment on my video, and if you like it, please don't forget to share it as well. So here we go. First of all, we'll discuss about the history, because the background is very important actually. See, what happened is a lot of people ask why Russia has suddenly invaded Ukraine. There is a history behind it, because if you roll back the history pages, you will find that in 1793, Ukraine actually became the part of Russia. I mean, not the Russia, then it was Soviet Union, USSR. So, from 1793 till, we can say, 24th of August 1991, Ukraine was part of USSR only, which is today Russia. Then USSR broke, and USSR broke on 25th of December 1991, and Ukraine declared themselves an independent country along with 22 other countries which broke from USSR on 24th of August 1991. Just almost, say, let's say 3 months before Soviet Union broke. And we all know who played a major role in breaking up of USSR. It was obviously USA, and CIA played a major role. USA was behind it, and they basically, by breaking up of USSR, they more or less won the Cold War, which was ongoing between them, between USA and Russia. Though many people still believe that Cold War is still ongoing between USA and Russia, but I have a different view on that, and if I try to explain that, the video will become too long. That is a topic for another day. So this is the history. So Ukraine was part of Russia, similarly like India, like Pakistan was part of India, Bangladesh was also part of India, but the two countries broke. Like here also, we talk about Akhand Bharat. There also in Russia there are talks. There are many people who believe that Russia should reclaim its lost territory. Are they wrong in it? Are they wrong in thinking that? That's a matter of personal opinion. Now, why suddenly this war happened? Let's get to that. See, in when the Second World War ended, I guess in 1945 it ended. I could be wrong, but thereabouts. So what was agreed was that the NATO forces will never come to uh, these Baltic states, Baltic countries like Romania, Hungary, all these countries. Basically, it was agreed that NATO forces will stay away from Russia or USSR, we can say, right? And there would be a buffer zone, and that was agreed. Now, what happened was, in recent times, since now what happened was that although it was agreed on paper, but in reality it was never really followed, because NATO forces managed to convince Russia and Hungary, and they actually became the part of NATO. And by default, when somebody becomes part of NATO, USA can set up military bases in that particular country. So this is what happened. So Hungary got a military base of USA. Same was done in Romania. This obviously upset Russia, because a basic commitment was broken. That's one thing. Now people are asking, then why did Russia attack Ukraine? Russia attacked Ukraine simply because since 2024 there was a change in government in Ukraine. Before 2024, there was a pro-Russian government over there. Now, European forces, along with the USA, managed to topple that government, and we can say that they put their own man who was pro-Western countries, anti-Russia and pro-Western countries and Europe countries. So today what has happened is that Ukraine has become the victim between the superpowers. This is my understanding. Because what was happening was, from behind, US and Europe was instigating Ukraine we can say, or basically they were just threatening that NATO, we will give entry to you in NATO and all that. These were all words. They actually did not give entry to Ukraine in NATO forces, but they promised. And this basically pressed the panic button in Russia, because Ukraine is just next to Russia. So if you want to understand in Indian context, it's like that. Suppose Nepal gives a free entry to China from his border. From his Indian border, Nepal gives a free entry to China within India. So what will happen? Right now, China is just fiddling with us in the high mountain areas. Suppose tomorrow, if Nepal gives the free entry to China from its Uttar Pradesh border, then China will have a free access to enter in India at the Indian heartland, mainland basically. So this is the security concern, and Russia has the same security concern. From Ukraine, there are areas in Ukraine from where Moscow is just merely 100 kilometer or 150 kilometers, which is nothing. So, and this has been ongoing since 2017. These NATO forces and Europe forces are instigating and doing things to provoke Russia. Now the dam has been broken, right? So, and it's not that Putin actually did a surprise attack. Actually, he verbally warned Ukraine many times, and also hinted Europe and USA many times that please back off. Do not even think of putting your forces in Ukraine. We will take this very seriously. If you read the official statements of Russia or a Russian president, it was pretty much coming, right? But he was just waiting for the right time. So, right time came when a weak president came in USA, which is unfortunately Joe Biden. He got a massive boost. I'm talking about Putin. Putin got a massive boost and a hint when the US withdrew the forces from Afghanistan. He understood that USA and all these major European powers, they are actually afraid of losing men on ground. They hate body bags. By body bag I mean dead soldiers, right? So basically he sensed that they will just talk, they will condemn, they will put sanctions, and this is what they are doing. And Biden actually did say, even recently he said that we will not send the troops to Ukraine. And it was like, Putin just basically smiled in his heart after hearing that statement, simply because you do not win wars without sending troops on ground. No matter how technologically advanced you are, if you are up against a credible opponent, which Russia is one of the strongest military powers in the world, if you want to defeat Russia, you will have to send your troops on ground. You cannot defeat them by remote controls or buttons unless or until you nuke them. Are you willing to take that risk? I doubt that, right? So Putin sensed that neither Europe nor USA will send their troops. They will support from back end, but in terms of military strength between Ukraine and Russia, it is actually, there is a huge difference. It's like India fighting with Nepal or India fighting with Sri Lanka. There is basically no match between the power of Russia and Ukraine. Yes, Ukraine will get the support from maybe outside or backside support from US and Europe, but I'm not sure how long they will be able to sustain Russian full throttle attack. So that was the thing. We are hearing reports that Ukraine is fighting fighting back, but not sure for how long they will be able to do it. Eventually, their supplies will run out, and mind you, right now it's not a full-fledged attack by Russian. They are not using even 10% of their force. They are using just 5 to 7% of their force up till now, right? And still, their placing is good, right? So this is the tactical scenario in war, right? Now, what is happening is that a lot of people are demonizing Putin for this war. They are saying that he's evil, he's a devil, he has invaded an innocent country. But actually, if reports are to be believed, actually Ukraine is one of the corrupt countries in the world. It is a heaven for black money, oligarchs, drug mafias, prostitution, money laundering. All kinds of dirty things happen in Ukraine. It is on corruption index. It is right there in top 10, right? So, although even if it's a democracy, it's a, we can say, a very diluted democracy. And the east of there is a river in right between the Ukraine, and the east of that river, the river's name is Dnieper, and that river, actually east of it, has a Russian population who actually wants freedom from Ukraine, and they want to basically get dissolved in Russia or get included in Russia. So the point is, there is an internal support also for Russia, right? There are people in Ukraine who want Russian rule. So that's also the case. Now, if we come back to morality of the war, actually there is no war which is morally fought. Putin was right in saying that US has no credible face to tell us what is right and what is wrong, because US themselves did not follow any, they basically broke all the UN resolutions to attack Iraq. They attacked Iraq on the pretext of weapons of mass destruction, which they actually never found in Iraq, right? And also, they basically just threatened the whole world. I still remember the George Bush statement, wherein he said that either you are with us or against us. So basically, it's just the superpowers bullying or deciding to do a certain thing and forgetting about the rules and regulations. And I am talking about veto powers, who countries who have veto power, breaking all the rules and regulations of UN. So when a veto power breaks the rules, then there is nothing much left. There is no relevance for UN, right? Nobody listens to them basically. Big countries just decide what they want to do, and they do that. There was a resolution against Russia, but who cares? The damage has already been done. There was that's how it goes. In the major powers basically just do what they want to do, right? Now, I also want to touch upon one more point, which is China. China is actually drooling over this prospect of Russia, Europe, and US getting in fight with each other, because China will do nothing. China will just simply, fuel the fight, because more they fight, the more they become weak, and better it is for China. And on that particular point only, you may very well see that China will take over Taiwan or attack Taiwan, right? It may attack India also, but it's more likely that China will attack Taiwan if the war breaks out between Russia and US. I'm talking about war. Sanctions is a different thing. Sanctions, Russians already knew that they will, they will impose sanctions, so they are not really bothered about that, right? Lastly, I want to touch about what's in it for India. What should India do? See, there are 2 points of view here. One in favor of Russia, one in against of Russia. First thing is that India is a democracy, Russia is not, and Ukraine is a democracy. Ukraine, however imperfect a democracy it may be, but it is still somehow a democracy. So being a democratic country, we should support Ukraine, because otherwise any dictatorial power can tomorrow come and attack a democracy. China can do it against us, right? Pakistan, although we know who runs Pakistan, Pakistan can also attack us. So being a democracy, we should support democracy, right? But another contrary view is that India should look after its self-interest. Now, what is India's self-interest? Well, India is heavily dependent on Russia for their defense equipments, especially Air Force and we can say Navy, because all the submarines and all the aircrafts which are there in the Indian fleet, they are of Russian origin. They need to be maintained in good working condition. For that, we require equipments. We require constant supplies of equipments, which help them maintain them, right? So if we break ties with Russia or go against Russia, Russia can easily just stop the supplies of these very important and strategic equipments to us, and we'll be in a huge trouble then. Our submarines, our aircrafts, they'll be just toys. We won't be able to function them, right? So that's one point, and it's a huge point, because there is nothing more important than the national security. It's a national security point. So even if we want to, we cannot afford to go against Russia. Russia has been our old friend, we all know that. It is Russia who saves us on many occasions by doing veto. Russia has done veto in favor of India on Kashmir issues many times. It was Russia who helped us between the war against Pakistan and us, right? So these are the realities. Russia has been our long tested friend. But does that mean that we support the invasion of a democracy? Wow, that's a that's a that's a debatable point. But my personal opinion is that in current context, India should look after its self-interest, and India has actually done a right thing by abstaining. Because when the UN resolution vote happened, India abstained from the voting. They neither voted in favor of Russia nor did they voted against Russia. They abstained simply. So my last point is the solution. What is the solution? Well, the only solution which I see is that NATO forces will have to understand that Ukraine is the triggering point of war. They cannot afford to enter inside Ukraine. They have already entered Hungary and Romania. Russia will not allow them to enter in Ukraine because Russia thinks Ukraine is the buffer zone. And you don't allow enemy defenses to enter in buffer zone because that becomes a national security threat, right? So you need to give assurance to Russia that NATO forces will remain in Russia only, in Hungary and Romania only, and they will not enter in Ukraine. It was agreed earlier also, and it should be agreed now also, right? That's one thing. Also, either make Ukraine a part of Russia again, and if that is not possible, then basically Ukrainian governments needs to understand that basically they cannot fiddle with the idea of inviting NATO forces. Reason being, if suppose, for example, it's simple thing. If suppose tomorrow Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Nepal, Bangladesh, they all allow Chinese forces to set up military bases across their country, then how would India react? It will become a security threat for India. So they need to understand that, right? Russia has no problem with Ukraine as such. And basically, a lot of them are Russian people only who are living in Ukraine. It's just that they need to just follow the security guidelines, and Russia will do nothing. Russia will just simply, at best, it will be friend of Ukraine. But now the situation has been dragged to such a pit hole that it's likely that Russia will completely occupy Ukraine and claim it as its own territory, unless or until there are major setbacks which Russia receives. So this was my analysis. I hope you like my video. Please comment on it. Please subscribe to my channel and feel free to share it also. Thank you so much for watching.